Hi, this is Yulia. Here we are again. Welcome to all the rebels and revolutionaries. On the 7th of January 1978, an article titled "Iran and Red and Black Colonization" appeared in the National Daily Atalat newspaper, denouncing Khomeini as a British agent. Immediately after this publication, students of the religious seminary in the city of Qom clashed with the police, resulting in 70 deaths. Soon, the entire country was gripped by anti-government demonstrations and protests. The Shah was taken completely by surprise. And here is where Econ 101 failed the Shah. As the discontent with inflation brought an increasing number of protesters to the street, the administration decided to cut spending, which turned out to be a double-edged sword. The cutbacks lead to a sharp rise in layoffs, particularly among young, unskilled male workers living in the working-class districts. By the summer of 1978, they were in the streets, protesting in massive numbers. The Shah increasingly felt that he was losing control of the situation and hoped to regain it through appeasing the opposition. He decided to appoint Jafar Sharif Amami,
Jafar, he's our man if he can't do it.
to the post of prime minister. Amami legalized all political parties and released political prisoners, increased the freedom of expression, and curtailed Savak's authority. All of these were reasonable measures. The only problem was that even Iranians, who were favorably predisposed to the Shah's regime, started to doubt his ability to maintain law and order, interpreting his actions as a sign of weakness. On August 19th, one event tipped the public over the edge. In the southwestern city of Abadan, 4 arsonists barred the doors of the Cinema Rex movie theater and set it on fire, killing 422 people inside the theater. Khomeini immediately blamed the Shah and the Savak for setting the fire, and so did the public. To be fair, in my research of this topic, I found no evidence of the Savak's involvement in this heinous act. And right at the top of this wave of public discontent, Western media drove the nail in the Shah's political grave by covering Khomeini's move from Najaf to Paris. This media frenzy over Khomeini eroded the political standing of other clergy leaders, such as Ayatollah Shariat Madari. On November 6, the Shah appointed the military government to deal with this crisis. This was a classic case of doing too little, too late. The military leadership was increasingly paralyzed by indecision, and rank-and-file soldiers were demoralized, having been forced to confront violent demonstrators. Increasingly, Khomeini called on the soldiers of the armed forces to defect to the opposition. On December 11th, a dozen officers were shot dead by their own troops at Tehran Lavizan's barracks. By that point, many in President Carter's administration realized that the Shah's regime would not survive. On the 28th of December, a leader of the National Front, Shapur Bakhtiar, was appointed as a new prime minister. The Shah agreed to leave the country, releasing his royal duties to the Regency Council. The Shah also agreed to a referendum regarding the political future of the country to be held 90 days after his departure. On January 16, 1979, the tearful Shah left Iran for Egypt, never to return. Bakhtiar invited Khomeini back to Iran, and on February 1, 1979, Khomeini returned to Tehran in a chartered Air France Boeing 747. He was met by an ecstatic crowd of several million Iranians. Khomeini was now the undisputed leader of the revolution. On the 9th of February, a rebellion of pro-Khomeini Air Force technicians broke out at the Doshan Tepe Air Base. The armed rebels attacked a weapons factory, capturing nearly 50,000 machine guns and distributing them to civilians who joined in the fighting. The rebels began storming police stations and military bases throughout Tehran. The city's martial law commander, General Mehdi Rahimi, decided not to use his 30,000 loyal immortal guards to crush the rebellion, for fear of producing civilian casualties. The final collapse of the non-Islamist government came at 2 p.m. on the 11th of February, when the Supreme Military Council declared itself neutral in the current political disputes in order to prevent further disorder and bloodshed. The 11th of February is now the Islamic Revolution's Victory Day, a national holiday. While so much more can be and must be said about the aftermath of this revolution, its relevance to the present day demands an entire separate episode dedicated to this topic. Given the sensitivity of this topic, I hope my narrative did not cause an offense to any of my listeners, since my job is not to judge, but to try and understand. Not being a witness to these extraordinary events means I must learn from books, memoirs, press releases, and other historical documents. So I ask for your forgiveness if I have omitted an important part of these events. Please subscribe to my channel, debate, voice your opinions, and hopefully like what I'm doing here. Take care, and I'll see you next time on my channel, Rebels and Revolutions.